Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to be talking about how new technology can help you become productive in your business. Now, this brand new technology for the shores of the UK is the Apple Vision Pro. And we're going to have a little bit of a deep dive to have a look if this is going to be something that's going to be able for you to go and take your business to the next step, or is this something that really just will never get off the ground? We're going to explore it in a little bit more detail and be looking at it from a point of view of productivity. So let's roll the VT and don't you dare miss this one. Stay tuned. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick. I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with a fancy new logo, that QuickBooks Chap on the internet, head of accounts here at Boffix, and also your friendly podcaster who goes live each and every Monday morning for Ask the Accountant. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how technology has just become even more of a wow factor when it comes to you being able to be as productive as you possibly can be. Now, you see, I really love my tech, so much so that I have a pair of glasses here that I can record off, which is actually really good if I want to take some content, especially if I'm out and about interviewing people or I'm looking to get some content for my socials, whatever it's going to be. Actually having glasses that can record and have this POV view is actually really, really powerful. Then you have this form of technology. These are called augmented reality goggles. And the idea is if you stick these on, you'll be able to not just be able to see the surroundings, but actually you can put onto it big screens in front of you. So the idea here is if you just look just there, they actually have screens built within them. And the idea is that while wearing them, you can have this opportunity to actually go around and have your big screens with you. So if you've already used to having multiple screen setup like I do here, using these bad boys, you can actually sit anywhere you want and in theory have the biggest screen available. Now, I love this idea, but the problem is it's just down to ecosystem, isn't it? And not everything's compatible with this, so you've kind of got to make compromises. This also, as great as the technology is, well, actually, sometimes you need to be able to take the photos as well. So actually, if we could combine the two together, wouldn't that be brilliant? And when you combine the two together, previously to this one, and we've done videos on this in the past, but previously, it's all been down to VR technology. And I love VR technology. I love the idea that I can get this on, put this on here, and I can be transported into a whole different world, and I can be productive here by having screens up there and screens over here. And basically using this here, I can do a pass through as well, and I can see my hands now, and it all sounds great. But as good as this technology is, it's not perfect. In fact, it's more of a hindrance to do work on here than actually a benefit. And in this day and age where we spend most of our time being connected to one service or another, or we sign in and we can get work done on pretty much any device that has an active internet connection, that's all well and good, but then having to get your username, your password and everything else isn't actually very easy. And if I need to get my username and password, then most of the time I have to take myself out of that VR experience, go to my mobile phone or whatever device I've got that password on, and then try and extract the data from one to another. And what ends up happening is there becomes friction points. And instead of you embracing that technology, and instead of you going, oh, this is brilliant, I've got these massive screens I can take anywhere, I just need to link that with me. Or, you know, I have the opportunity to have meetings in VR and all that sort of stuff. The more friction points you have, the less likely you're going to use it. And when it comes to productivity, any form of friction, well, that kind of can be the death of it. Until now. Because now, this in here is what's called the Apple Vision Pro. So the idea in here is that we've got that technology that we were talking about where you can record from this POV. That's really powerful, right? But also you can have that AR technology where you can see the whole surrounding, but you can put different technology in different bits here, there and everywhere. That's really powerful. And in this box, well, it's called the Apple Vision Pro. And the idea of this is hopefully we can have all of it together. Now, let's have a look and see if this is all hype, or can we actually be productive with this or not? So first and foremost, how's it look? Well, I'm going to be honest with you, it's definitely more than just a pair of glasses, but actually I think you can get away with it. You see? How do I look? Now, if I start the recording process, you're going to be able to see exactly what I can see. So straight in front of me now, you can see that I have all my apps and icons as you can do, but clearly the most important thing about this is the fact that I can see everything. And let me just take this out there and let's put that to one side for a second. This battery pack here, I've just plugged it in so I don't run out of battery, but this has to stick with you, which is a bit weird. So you're going to have to keep that in your pocket. But actually, from a comfort point of view, it's relatively comfy. And the idea is now that I can be as productive as I need to be. So watch this. At the moment, I've got the pass through, so I can see my whole screen and I can put things in front of me. But if I spin this button here, you'll notice that I disappear. All I can see is my hands now, and I can kind of go through and look there. But you'll probably hear as well that now I'm in a completely different place, and I can change this environment as I need to. In fact, there's multiple environments I can go to, and I can pick different ones and bring them in. But actually, I've now been transported into this area in front of me. And with a spin of the button now, I can make that as see-through or as thing as I need it to be. So from a productivity point of view, if I just need to get rid of my surroundings and I actually want to go in monk mode and just get on with my work, I don't know if there's a better solution out there. Because with this, okay, I've got messages and all that popping up, but I can turn them on, but actually I can just get on with my work. Now, how does it work in terms of being productive? Well, I can actually put a keyboard here, and I could have a mouse as well as I need to, and I can work around like you would normally. But there's also the cleverness of just using your hands, right? And it's using my eyes as well. I can look at, say, Safari, and all I then do is click and it opens up my Safari. Now in here I can kind of go through anything, and I can bring anything I need to do up. So I can go to QuickBooks quite nice and easily, and even close that down if I want to. But this screen, well, I can make it as big or as small as I need to, and I can have multiple screens. Look, so here I'm going to pick this one up, I'm going to put that one over there, and now I've got this massive screen in front of me, and I can make it as big or as small as I need to. This one here, I can pick this one up and I can put that there. One of the nice things I like about this is when I first started using this, I was actually going to be trying to replicate my screens in front of me here. So if I make this nice and see-through, you can see I've got a screen there, there and there. And I tried to replicate this screen layout that I had in front of me. But actually the cleverness is that I don't need to. I'm not restricted to that. So I could have, say, something here so I can look straight at it while I'm working on the screen here, and I can move these around wherever I need to be, and I'm using my hands to be able to progress through, and I'm able to push things along. And the most important bit about this compared to the VR unit behind me is that this way of doing it, this element that we're doing now, it's all in my ecosystem already. So passwords, for example, I can go in to sign in there to that screen, I click in there, I click on the password, and it's going to get me through. And without that, I am now already straight in without having to do anything. If I'd have tried to do that in the other VR unit, I would have had to memorize the passwords and gone through from there. But then there's the real productivity. So here I'm opening up Safari and I'm going through things like that. Great, that works really well. I can close that down if I need to. But if I was to bring it up here, I can go to compatible apps, for example. I've got all of these apps I can go through, including Edge and Apron. But what I find really powerful is the fact I can use Copilot. So I can actually be using the power of AI directly in here. And it's got full access to everything. So I could ask it to do whatever I need to do. And I could bring this information in, and it can listen to me, and it can then go ahead and produce AI-based learning.
You can ask me to help with a wide range of tasks, from finding information and summarizing content to generating creative ideas and assisting with productivity tasks. Whether you need help with research, planning, or just some fun facts, I'm here to assist. What do you need help with today?
And as you can hear, it's then talking back to me as well, giving me those options. Now, that's wonderful, right? So I've got the option to bring Copilot up. I can use the AI functionality there. But what I really like is that if I go to a Teams one of the things that I'm loving with Microsoft Teams at the moment is that if I've got a meeting, so let's do a new meeting now, and let's say, and I can type just like here, I can bring a keyboard if I need to. I can create a meeting for people back and forth, right? So if I want to have a meeting with someone for the very first time, for clients, for example, I can do a Teams meeting. Copilot's really, really good at actually looking at that Teams meeting and being able to put that information in for me. So if I'm actually going to have a meeting with someone and we're both on our computers and we both have there, I can then analyze that information. It can go really, really well. And I can have that meeting nice and easy for me. And the best thing is with Microsoft Copilot, it can then look at that meeting, analyze it for me, get out the important information. And it's been really, really powerful. Now, I know the technology is not ready now, but in theory, when this has been more refined, and maybe this is the size of a glasses, this is how we could do meetings in the future. I can join it directly from here. I can be in this meeting like I am now, and I can have Copilot transcribe that meeting for me. And here you can see it's put a persona of me. Now, if I go back to the real world, put that over there, just imagine that I'm actually having that meeting with you. So if I'm having that meeting with you now and we're face to face and we're having that conversation, again, don't worry about what it looks like now. It's obviously going to get better in time. But the idea would be then me and you having this conversation, but importantly, Copilot over here is transcribing everything we want to know. So that once that meeting's done, I can go into the meeting and I can ask Copilot, tell me about that last meeting. Now, there's not much to talk about here, but imagine it was a full-blown meeting. We can now get all of those meeting notes immediately after the meeting. And again, this isn't quite going to work in terms of what it looks like now. I think if I'd have turned up to a client meeting looking like this, rightly so, they'd probably be a little bit scared maybe, or a bit confused about what's going on. But actually, the fact that we can record the meeting in person, the fact that we can then get all of the information there, actually works really, really well. And then there's another trick up its sleeve. You see, at the moment, if I was to grab my laptop, put my laptop in front of me, because everything's all connected, I can actually look at my computer and do what's called a Mac virtual display, meaning that no matter where I am in the world, I now have the laptop screen ahead of me here. I can go back into my Microsoft Teams, for example, look into that meeting we've just been to. As you can see here, I can see all the information that I had. Even ask Copilot, maybe ask for some more prompts and say, list main items were discussed. But I can do everything that my normal laptop can do. But better yet, I can make the screen as big as I need it to be. And from here, I can do all of my work and have a big as a screen as I need, while at the same time still add in any of these apps in that I need to. So I need Microsoft Excel, no problem. Bring that over here. Get my budget up and off the races I go. And again, you're limitless of how you have it done. So I could have my budget here, information here, and work between the two quite easily. So there we have it. Now, should someone go out and buy this? Honestly, probably not. But is this something that can show you a glimpse into what the future is going to be? I believe it is. And I generally believe that this is how, if they can get the technology to be more looking like this, the future of computing is going to be. Where you're not restricted to laptops, phones, iPads. Your whole environment can become something you interact with, and ultimately something that you can work with. You see, I'm still scratching the surface there. In theory, there's nothing wrong with me putting items around the room that I can interact with. So for example, I do a lot in HomeKit. meaning that I can turn my lights on and off, etc, etc. Well, there's nothing wrong with me setting up over there my actual light switch, for example, with all of my information on there to keep my home kit up to date. Entertainment wise, I can watch videos over here and I could put maybe something over there. CPD wise, if I'm going into a webinar, for example, I can have that webinar playing while I'm still doing work. If you think about it, it makes it completely limitless. And at the moment, I'm trying to replicate this workstation in front of me where I can be as productive as I possibly can be. But actually, I can replicate all of that on that one device. Is this device perfect? No. But is it a step in the right direction? Most certainly. And I think that's the most important bit. Now, I'm going to continue working and figuring out how productive this actually can be. What scenario would make you go turn the other way and think to yourself, actually, now that I see it can do that, then I'm interested in getting on board? Because I'd love to know. For my practice, I could actually do 90% of my work just using this device, which is scary if you think about it. And I could do that 90% of work anywhere in the world just by taking this with me. But what about you? Let me know in the comments below, how would you think about using this? Challenge me. Challenge me on how you would say how a certain task would be done, just like this. Again, I've only scratched the surface. I'd love to think exactly what else can do. I want to see if this is a productivity powerhouse or just a gimmick. Let me know. My name is Patrick. As always, this video has been an absolute pleasure to do for you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.